Cruising at speeds approaching 600 miles per hour and flying at near space altitude, private jets inhabit a world all of their own. These aircraft may not be for everyone, although more people are flying private jets than ever before. In the next hour, we will have the thrill of jumping on board. We'll also meet a former supermodel who's building a community around a very different kind of runway. We'll get inside access to a superstar whose lifelong love of flying has literally taken him to the ends of the earth. We'll learn how private jets and their new technologies are changing the way we will all be traveling in the 21st century. So for now, sit back and buckle up. We're going to be flying in style. Next, we'll fly near the speed of sound with an Academy Award-winning filmmaker, then visit a model who's kept horses, elephants, and even a 707 in her backyard. The future of private aviation is ripe with fresh ideas and innovative concepts. In the heart of horse country in Ocala, Florida, lays the country's longest private runway. The immense landing strip is the centerpiece of a burgeoning fly-in development where every home has a personal hangar and taxiway. The development is the creation of Terry Jones-Thayer, famed model and world record-holding pilot. To many, she is remembered as the spokeswoman for Nautilus fitness equipment or for her Charlie perfume ad campaign for Revlon.
Ultimately, I think it was modeling that ended up transporting me into this world of aviation.
Terry is much more than a famous model, accomplished entrepreneur, adventurer, and airline pilot. She was the youngest person to have received a captain's rating in a Boeing 707. She holds the Jacksonville, Florida to Los Angeles speed record for a prop jet and also holds a captain's certificate in the Boeing 747. In the late 80s, her jet experience took her to Zimbabwe on a mission of mercy. The culling of elephant herds and severe drought was taking its toll. Terry and her husband flew to Africa and, using their private jet to fulfill a dream, loaded 98 orphaned elephants for their return trip to Terry's Florida retreat. The reserve was expanded and given a unique name.
The name Jumbolair actually means elephant den because at one time Jumbolair housed the largest herd of African elephants in captivity. We had 98 elephants at one time roaming in the backyard here.
Eventually, the animals would be donated to zoos around the world. Today, Terry Jones-Thayer is a woman with a vision for the future of private aviation, a community solely dedicated to flying families.
We have the best of both worlds here, the smell of jet fuel and horse manure. I love the smell of jet fuel and horse manure. Doesn't get any better than that.
Terry's dream of a fly-in community in this pristine setting is well on its way to becoming a reality. Many parcels have been sold, and homes with hangars and corrals are sprouting up all along her 7,500-foot runway.
Just can't get any better than this. It combines the ability to land a jet, a 707, park it in your backyard, and then you have just this natural beauty all around you, but you always have the means at your back door just to
In a city draped in Spanish moss, Savannah, Georgia, a major motion picture has wrapped its last day of shooting. A private jet is being prepped for a megastar. Every part of the aircraft is being meticulously inspected before takeoff. On this day, actor-aviator John Travolta will play the role of his life, that of Captain Travolta.
How's it look today? Okay. Good? Hi, Peter.
17 minutes.
4:17. No winds. How's the weather?
It's good here. Good mid-continent. A little bit of storms around here, but we'll be clear in the first hour.
Good.
John Travolta's passion for flying began at an early age. He grew up in Englewood, New Jersey, on the approach to LaGuardia and became fascinated by the comings and goings of jets and the romance of flight.
I've been flying for 28 years now. I soloed, I started flying lessons in 1970. I was 16 years old, and now I've had maybe 4,800 hours in the air, mostly jet. I treat my flying career as though it were a professional career because I like living life that way. So in aviation is my main passion outside of acting and my family, so I really treat it with great respect.
Travolta's film crew, returning to California, boards one of his private jets. His aircraft allows him to reach more filming locations, streamlining the shooting time of a big-budget film.
This is a business trip. We are leaving a location, and my film crew will be handled with the same kind of luxury that I would expect traveling myself, you know. So even though I'll be up front flying the plane, they'll be wined and dined in the back. They'll be served a menu, and they'll have music and video options. They'll have sleeping arrangements if they want it. They'll have a full course meal, soup to nuts type thing, you know, the way I think it should be.
An in-jet shower is a welcome luxury after hot, dusty location work.
The shower, yes. Well, you see, I just came from the set, so I have makeup and hair from acting on a movie set, and I don't want to waste the time to do it at the house or there. I want to get home to the family, right? So after I take off, my other hired pilot will come in. I'll go shower in the back, clean up, and come back up to the cockpit because it's just a time-saving element. Okay, so gust locks, we're checked. That's off.
Right. Power levers.
Power levers. They're closed. Means we haven't started anything yet.
APU air and amps.
APU air and amps is up here. We put those on, and we're going to get filled up with air here so we can actually start the engines. Take off power.
Power set.
Power set. V1. Rotate.
For a highly successful actor like John Travolta, the sky is indeed not the limit. In 1998, Travolta purchased an ex-Boeing 707 jetliner and had it converted for his personal use. John had the plane repainted to its original 60s livery and even decked himself and his crew out in vintage uniforms. In 2002, to celebrate the restoration's completion, John and the airline organized the Spirit of Friendship Tour.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Your flying time today will be 2 hours. We are serving lunch, and the movie on board is Grease. Anyway, I have named my son Jet. I wanted to name my daughter Qantas, but my wife put her foot down.
As ambassador at large for the airline, John had to qualify for his company wings. At the controls of his 707 and with his wife, actress Kelly Preston, and their children, they would touch down in 13 cities around the world.
Spirit of Friendship Tour is a name that Qantas and I came up with because we want to really promote intercontinental relationships, international relationships.
With a flight time of more than 80 hours and covering more than 35,000 nautical miles, Travolta has used